Welcome to the Brown Edwards Benefits Buzz podcast, where we provide guidance and discuss topics that may be impacting your employee benefit plans. I'm your host, Brittany Quinn. I'm an audit partner based out of our Roanoke, Virginia office. If you're unfamiliar with Brown Edwards, I encourage you to check out our website, where you can find more information about our services, locations, and skilled professionals. In today's episode, the Brown Edwards Audit Team episode, you will learn more about the professionals who work closely with our clients every day to deliver quality, insight, and trust. In this first episode, we're highlighting the audit managers and seniors. These team members are often your primary point of contact, coordinating the audit, guiding staff, and making sure nothing falls through the cracks. Today, you'll hear from Dean, Caitlin, Megan, Rebecca, and Shannon as they share what they do, a few common audit findings from their perspective, and what clients can expect when working with them. At Brown Edwards, our managers and seniors play a critical role in every engagement. They help to plan the audit, communicate with clients, and supervise field work. They also ensure that we are meeting professional standards, all while keeping the process efficient and collaborative. They're also mentors to our staff and problem solvers when complex issues arise. To start, let's have each of you briefly introduce yourself.
My name is Dean Tyree. I am a senior associate at the firm. I work out of our Lynchburg, Virginia office. I'd say about 80% of my work is on these employee benefit plan audits, but I'll flip over and do some fiduciary tax work from time to time as well. My favorite part about working directly with clients is probably onboarding the new clients and helping them get comfortable with the process. Of course, from the audit perspective, we're going to be independent, but from an operational perspective, I want to make them feel like we're on the same team as them, guide them through, get them comfortable with what we're doing.
Hi, I am Caitlin Tolliver. I'm a manager in the Roanoke office. I have also served as a hybrid employee for the last about 5 or 6 years. I started with Brown Edwards as an intern in 2014. I have been here for a while now and have primarily worked on employee benefit plans during my time here. And my favorite part about working with clients is just meeting people from all over the country.
I am Megan Batty. I'm a senior associate in our Lynchburg office, and I work with a variety of clients on their benefit plan audits, including banks, schools, colleges, all kinds of corporate clients, construction, contractors, good mix of different types of industries. And I think my favorite part of working on the benefit plan audits is that you get to collaborate with members of HR and finance teams. So you kind of get a good mix of different people you're working with and building those relationships year over year and trying to make the audit process as smooth as possible for the clients.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Timer. I'm a senior associate in our Roanoke office. I primarily work on employee benefit plan audits, but I also do a little bit of work on some electric cooperatives and peer reviews. One of my favorite parts about working on employee benefit plan audits is getting to work across a variety of different industries. We really serve some wonderful clients who not only count on us to get the audit done for them timely, but they also trust us to provide recommendations when necessary. It's really rewarding to be able to help a client work through something and correct issues that they may have had.
I'm Shannon Cook, a senior associate in our Bristol office. I work on employee benefit plans for about half the year. Again, like everyone else, a good mix of different industries, and also work on construction audits and reviews for the rest of the year. And I think my favorite part of working on audits and with our clients in general is just the people that we get to meet and interact with. We've served these clients for many years, and some of these clients have become very good friends, and I enjoy getting to interact with them as much as possible.
Great. Can you guys share a little bit from your perspective what clients expect when working with the Brown Edwards audit?
Sure. As far as keeping the audits on track, we use a software called SureLink. It's a provided by clients listing that helps us lay out our requests in order. There are many features within there to help it make it intuitive and user-friendly instead of things getting lost in email. It's a live assistance listing. And so within each request, we can have a conversation thread back and forth about a particular request. We can mark things as either completed, outstanding, fulfilled, or returned. And so that gives a clear indication about where the audit's at. There's a clear progress indicator at the top to let you know whether things are fulfilled, rejected, accepted, or just outstanding still. So that helps to keep the audit on track and then not help get things lost in email.
One great way that we're using to keep audits on track is using our platform SureLink for PVC listings. This is great because it lets us interact in real time with the clients without having to send emails back and forth all the time, which I know a lot of clients appreciate. We can get real time notifications of uploads and comments left by us and the client. So that's one of the ways where we're trying to keep the audits on track.
So, how do you approach client communication?
So, client communication is primarily done through SureLink. We do also use just email, or we can do a meeting like a Zoom or a Teams call. So, we really can connect with the client any way that they feel comfortable and the best way for them so that we can keep the audit on track.
So, like to echo what the others have said with SureLink, we use this to really keep track of all facets of the audit. But sometimes, we still obviously need to use email, and we have Teams calls and phone calls as well. But one thing that we've really tried to take advantage of in recent years is not having ongoing email chains that when you could really easily just pick up the phone and get it resolved really quickly. Sometimes you find that things can get lost in translation if you just keep it electronically and you don't have a face-to-face meeting. So sometimes you're able to get things are resolved much quicker if you're able to have a meeting and you're able to get it figured out more smoothly and efficiently.
Great. Shannon, do you have any insights to offer about how we keep our audits, the audit quality up and efficient, and how we can maintain that with our clients?
First and foremost, we want these audits to go as smoothly as our clients do. We want to make it as easy a process for our clients as we possibly can. We want to meet our audit standards, and we want to provide our clients with useful suggestions as we go through the audit, not just click the box of what we have to do. We want to provide that value to the clients that they get as much out of the audit as they possibly can. And we want to complete the audit with as little disruption to the client as possible. So if a client has questions or something we've requested, it's going to take them hours to pull something, let us know. There may be something else we can do or a different report that we can pull, and that would save you all time and still get our audit done in a complete manner.
From your experience working on employee benefit plan audits, what are some of the most common audit findings that you all encounter? And for the listeners, can you briefly explain not only what those issues are, but also how they tend to happen and how sponsors can proactively avoid them?
One of the biggest issues that I encounter in my day-to-day work is the timeliness of employee contributions, whether they be remitted too early or too late. A lot of times it's remitted too late. For late contributions, you'll want to reference our first episode of the podcast series where we talk in depth about it. But just to give a recap, if employee contributions are withheld from payroll and then not remitted in a timely fashion, then they can be considered late and they will go on a supplemental schedule. There will be a management comment associated with it sometimes, depending on whether it's isolated or not. And then on the other side, if contributions are remitted too early, the IRS and DOL aren't very happy with that either. And so it's important to make sure that when they're segregated from payroll, they're remitted as close as possible to the check date or when participants can pick up their checks. So I would recommend getting with your payroll provider and your TPA to coordinate an automated file feed or something like that to make the process seamless.
One audit finding that I am seeing a lot right now is the use of forfeitures and the reallocation of the forfeiture account within the plan. Typically, a change in forfeiture allocation may come with a restatement and may get missed with that restatement. I know sometimes those provisions are kind of standard, and if you wanted to use forfeitures a certain way, it may have gotten missed during that. So forfeitures are typically used in similar ways. You would want to make sure the way you are using it is in line with your plan document and that your forfeiture account isn't building up from year to year. This is a hot topic with the DOL right now, so it may be something that you're seeing come up more often. A common use of forfeitures would be first to reduce employer contributions, then to pay plan expenses. What you really want to look at is if there is a particular order in which your forfeiture account should be used or a particular time frame when your forfeiture account should be used. A lot of them are now saying they must be used within a year of that forfeiture occurring in the participant's account. So just make sure you're reviewing your plan document to make sure that that forfeiture account is being used appropriately.
So one of our most common issues we see in the employee benefit plan audits would be eligibility and enrollment errors. And that could include missed entries, late entries, ineligible employees allowed to participate. A variety of issues could be encompassed under those eligibility and enrollment errors. And I would refer you to our episode 2 in this podcast series as we take a deep dive into the different facets of those eligibility and enrollment errors and how the plan sponsors can proactively work to avoid those.
Another area that we see pretty commonly is compensation. And while you would think that would be one of the easiest ones because what you get paid is your compensation, it doesn't always work that way. The plan document is a good reference to what is actually included and excluded from your plan's compensation. The plan compensation has to match your plan document.
Another item we sometimes see, and actually something that I have not really seen until more recently, is related to employer non-elective contribution errors. Sometimes there are situations when an employee has not yet established an account, but you still need to ensure proper tracking of all eligible employees and allocation is completed when appropriate. So this is just something to be conscientious of if you have a non-elective employer contribution.
Well, that concludes this episode of Brown Edwards Benefits Buzz. I want to say a big thank you to Dean, Caitlin, Megan, Rebecca, and Shannon for sharing a bit about themselves and the work that they do. And thank you for listening to this episode of the Benefits Buzz podcast. If you found this episode helpful, feel free to share it and subscribe for more insights. And also, if you have a topic you'd like us to cover, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.